The night swallowed the highlands of Guatemala like a living shadow, thick and suffocating, yet strangely alive. Mateo's footsteps crunched softly on the forest floor, each one echoing as though the mountains themselves were counting his heartbeat. His satchel of medicine weighed heavy against his chest, a lifeline for his ailing grandfather far below. The moon hung low, pale and hollow, casting a silver glow that tangled with the fog and ghostly columns. The mist drifted around twisted pines like dancers in a funeral procession, and somewhere deep in the forest, the sharp hoot of an owl cut through the stillness, echoing like a warning. Mateo's breath came in shallow bursts as he whispered a prayer to the earth, asking the spirits of the highlands to guide him safely through the night. The path narrowed between gnarled roots that twisted like the fingers of some ancient slumbering giant. And then he saw them. Two eyes, bright and unblinking, staring from the shadow beneath a massive ceiba tree. The larger pair belonged to a black dog, enormous, its coat absorbing every drop of moonlight. Each step it took released a low growl that vibrated through the trees like distant thunder. Mateo froze, his heart hammering as the creature's shadow advanced, brushing aside fallen needles that scattered like sparks in the darkness. The damp scent of moss and smoke clung to the air. The rough bark scratched against his palm when he leaned for support, and somewhere behind him, crickets whispered secrets in the dark. Just when the fear threatened to crush him, a second pair of eyes appeared. A soft, glowing white, luminous under the moon's pale light. A breeze kissed Mateo's cheek as the white dog stepped forward, positioning itself between him and the looming black predator. Its presence radiated a strange warmth, a quiet promise of protection, and in that moment, it was as if the forest itself held its breath. Mateo's pulse steadied slightly, the terror mixing with awe. Legends his grandmother had whispered came rushing back to him, stories of twin spirits born from the earth and moonlight, guardians who roamed the highlands when the night was darkest. They were called El Cadejo. One was shadowed, relentless, a hunter of lost souls. The other glimmered with protection, a silent savior for those who wandered in need. Mateo had dismissed such tales as superstition, but now the stories were real, alive before his very eyes. The black dog growled again, the sound rolling like distant drums, each vibration crawling along Mateo's spine. The path he had walked for hours ended abruptly at a jagged cliff, a yawning drop that seemed to devour moonlight itself. There was no escape. Mateo's lungs tightened as the black creature crept closer, its breath carrying the sharp metallic tang of the earth, wet and decaying. He could feel the hairs on his arms rise. Every instinct screamed to run, but there was nowhere to go. Then, in the silence of the rain-soaked night, a soft tapping echoed, delicate, almost prayer-like. The white dog advanced, moving with a calm, unshakable grace. Its raised snout let out a roar that cut through the darkness, defying the black beast. Lightning split the sky above, illuminating the two forms locked in a silent battle of wills. Mateo stood frozen, drenched, feeling the forest quake beneath his feet as the wind whipped branches and mist into a frenzied storm around him. The two spirits circled each other, the black crackling with malice, the white glowing with quiet power. And Mateo realized fear alone could not define this night. Courage was something else entirely. The stormy clash of the two dogs escalated into something almost otherworldly. The black Cadejo lunged, jaws snapping like iron gates, teeth gleaming in the lightning flashes. Mateo's heart threatened to burst as the white guardian countered, weaving between strikes with precision, sparks of silver seeming to pulse from its fur. Rain battered his face like 1,000 icy needles, the wind whipping the mist into frenzied spirals. Branches snapped overhead, striking the ground, soaking Mateo through, yet he couldn't look away. Somewhere in the chaos, the frantic calls of tree frogs cut through the storm, high and insistent, adding an eerie rhythm to the battle. The black beast roared, a sound that shook the forest, but the white Cadejo did not waver. With a powerful, deliberate strike, it forced the shadowed guardian back, and the darkness melted into the mist, leaving behind only the echo of defeat. The white dog approached Mateo slowly, each paw step leaving a faint glow on the wet earth, as if marking a path through the night itself. Mateo felt warmth spreading through his chest, a calm certainty that he would survive. The spectral guardian nudged him gently, guiding his trembling feet along the trail, each step steadying his soul, as if the forest itself had become safe again. By the first light of dawn, Mateo emerged into a wide meadow, glittering with dew, blades of grass shining like countless tiny diamonds. The white Cadejo lingered at the forest's edge, eyes fixed on him, a silent protector until the world fully awoke. Then, as quietly as it had appeared, it vanished into the morning light, leaving Mateo on his knees, hands pressed to the earth in gratitude, carrying the weight of moonlight and a renewed faith in the unseen guardians of the Highlands. When he returned to San Pedro, news of his journey had already spread. Elders gathered in the square, sharing stories over steaming bowls of sweet corn atole, the scent of cinnamon thick in the air. Children sat wide-eyed on stone benches, listening as distant marimba music floated through lantern-lit streets. His grandfather rose when he saw him, tears shining like polished jade, placing a wrinkled hand on Mateo's cheek and reciting a prayer as ancient as the volcanoes themselves. That night, villagers formed a quiet procession to the base of the volcano, lanterns and offerings in hand, leaving small candles by the roots of the ceiba tree. Each flame flickered like a heartbeat, a reminder that the guardians of the night were still watching. An elder spoke softly to the crowd, voice low and steady. El Cadejo is not a tale to frighten children, it is a guide, a lifeline. When darkness rises, remember the white guardian who stands between you and despair. Parents hugged their children, whispering promises of safety and guidance, while even skeptics shivered as though touched by invisible paws. From that day forward, travelers hung tiny palm crosses on their bags, a silent tribute to the twin spirits of the Highlands who continued to roam beneath the moonlight. In the quiet hours before sunrise, the legend lived on. The whisper of paws across the forest floor, the faint glow of eyes beyond the lantern's reach, these were signs that hope could take a tangible form and courage could be forged in the darkest nights. And if you ever hear the soft tap of paws behind you or glimpse two shining eyes staring through the mist, remember Mateo's journey. One spirit may tempt, but another will always guide you home. The mountains of Guatemala still breathe these stories into the wind, a reminder that even in the endless battle between shadow and light, hope always has a voice.